Welcome to the Legion.
Welcome to the Legion.
This is the official podcast of the Lee High School Creative and Performing Arts Magnet. I'm Killian Hopper, an 11th grader in Technical Theater Magnet.
I am Imani Taylor, a 12th grader in Technical Theater Magnet. On this episode for November 2024, we learn about the Trumbauer State Theatre Competition.
And since the holidays are coming up, it's the perfect time to review some high-quality Hallmark movies.
We are also starting a deep dive series about our student organizations. Today we visit two clubs here at Lee, the Just Keep Living Club and Black Student Union.
And finally, Tech Theater Magnet senior Alana Griffin will answer student questions and share her opinions in her segment Alana Talks.
Hi, I'm Alana Griffin. Welcome to Trumbauer 101, where we will tell you about the annual theater festival and competition. First, we have an interview with the state chair of the Trumbauer Festival and Lee High School alum, Chris Carter.
Hello, I'm Jack Phillips.
I'm Alana Griffin.
Today we're here with Chris Carter. Hello, can you please introduce yourself for anyone who doesn't know?
Hey guys, my name's Chris Carter. I work with Arts Huntsville. I'm the production manager and programs administrator over there. I'm also the secondary chair for the Alabama Conference of Theater, which means I do all the high school Trumbauer Theater Festival.
Can you explain what Trumbauer is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Trumbauer is a festival that is designed to celebrate theater in our Alabama State experience with our high school students, and we participate in individual acting events, technical events, playwriting, and we moved into now we have group events, group acting, group musical, and then we do a competition, one-act shows and studio shows, and that culminates at the state level, like a state competition where we give out awards, best in shows and best actor, actress, that kind of stuff. So it's a like the football equivalent of a championship in the state level. Just to give you a sense of scale, this year we had 2,983 students participate at the district level. We had 2,802 individual events, and we gave out 1,801 superiors.
Okay, so you mentioned the one-act competition. How does it work?
The district level, high schools that participate in Trumbauer gather in a single location on the first weekend in November, and they perform for one another and for a set of judges, sometimes 3, sometimes 5 judges. Those judges score those productions. Categories are similar to like acting style, beats and unit clarity, how's the costume, how are the sets, how's the sound design, how's the lighting design, how was the flow of the show like? And at the end of that, scores are all tallied, and the schools with the highest points are awarded an opportunity to compete at a state level. Come and see us at state. Let's get you some more trophies, huh?
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We've heard from Carter about how the one-act competition works, but now we want to tell you about the individual events. Students have the opportunity to compete in one of 35 individual and group acting events across both performance and technical categories. The students work to prepare their piece and perform, or present it to the judges at the competition. Students who place highly will move on to state. Here at Lee, we had 107 students participate in individual events this year, with 74 going to state. Now we will hear from some students about their experience with Trumbauer.
I competed in musical dramatic 1980 to 2015. Trumbauer is people they're all very similar, and we all come together to have fun.
Trumbauer, to me, it's a way that all the theaters can get together and collaborate, and we can all show our pieces and support each other and have fun, of course.
Trumbauer to me is a sense of community. I really like how everyone from different schools can come together, compete, but like in a friendly kind of way, I think.
You just heard freshman Nola White, sophomore Chris Hart, and junior Linda Mathis. Students at Lee said that they like Trumbauer because it's fun and it allows them to meet and hang out with like-minded people from all over the city or state. But also, they like the sense of accomplishment they get from working hard and seeing that work recognized. Support our students as they progress to the state competition on December 6th and 7th of this year. Keep an eye out on the LHS Theater Magnet Instagram for Trumbauer updates. Thank you for listening.
In a future episode, we will catch up with all the Lee Magnet performers competing at state.
good luck at the December competition hosted at University of North Alabama. Now it's Hallmark season, just in time for Thanksgiving.
Here is the Welcome to the Legion's podcast team reviewing As Gouda as It Gets, a cheese-themed romantic comedy.
The holidays are on the way, and of course the staple for seasonal entertainment are Hallmark movies. We're reviewing some of the cringiest, cheesiest holiday movies out there. I'm Destini.
And I'm Killian.
Let's review some movies.
And here with us today we have two guests, Mr. Lee, the film and video magnet teacher, and Jillian, our podcasting classmate. They both have watched As Gouda as It Gets, and Destini has not. So the three of us are about to explain and review this, and Destini's going to ask us some questions about it. Okay, so basically the movie that we're reviewing today is As Gouda as It Gets, released in 2020. Basically, it's about a cheesemaker named Bree, has her own little cheese shop in Vermont, and she falls in love with a cheese blogger, and they work together to win a cheese competition. So knowing that, what was your initial thoughts of the movie?
I am concerned about this woman whose name is Brie. The only thing in her head is cheese. Like, there's nothing else.
So at the beginning, she's just had a date, right?
Yes.
And she's like, it's over. And her best friend's like, why? Lactose intolerant. What would we talk about? Everything else in life that's not dairy related?
Well, what else is there in her life?
That's why Jillian's worried.
And then immediately after that, her friend was like, well, maybe the next guy will come in and buy a specific type of cheese. And she was judging this made-up guy for buying this specific type of cheese.
Well, I sure hope he wouldn't buy Limburger.
Yes.
Ugh. It's like, okay, queen.
She's also, so furthering the plot, she's entering this, 3-year smoked Gouda or whatever into this.
4 years.
Is it 4 year? Thank you. Gouda. I would hate to get that wrong. Brie would never forgive me. Into this cheese competition, and this cheese blogger, which is baffling to me that that's a thing. It probably is, but it's still crazy to me. He writes this review of the Gouda, and he loves it. He doesn't like her goat cheese, and she cannot let it go. She cannot let it go.
I'm concerned that this guy, John Wolfe, is so huge.
Jack Wolfe.
Jack
Yeah,
Wolfe.
Jack. Yeah.
He's huge. Everybody knows him. He's got, 100,000 followers? And she still doesn't know who he is, and she's just her whole life, and that's what, it's his whole life, too.
His cookbook is just staring at her from the shelves.
And she still doesn't know who he is.
She's seen his face 1,000 times.
I think she's just like a severe introvert.
Yeah.
Because she's not even she doesn't even follow the industry. Like, she says that several times. She literally only thinks about the cheese she is currently making, which is it's a weird level of obsession. And also just the selection of cheese as the thing that it's almost like they came up with the pun title first and then they built a movie around it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they were like, how funny would it be to have a joke about big cheese?
Right.
Now let's make a movie.
Yes. And we can call our jokes cheesy and no one will get mad at us because it's just another cheese reference. Okay, so the rival is this Lambert Farms, right? That's apparent. Which is big cheese, corporate cheese, right? What did you guys think of Maddie, the new Lambert? Because when he first came on the scene, honestly, I was like, I may like him better than I do Jack Wolfe.
I was worried that there would be like a love triangle.
Yes, I got that vibe too.
Luckily, there wasn't, which was kind of weird that they would like almost start that.
They
plot.
set all of it up and then they just drop it.
Like whenever she basically they were like in a business deal, and then Maddie invited Bree to like dinner, but then Bree missed Jack's fondue seminar and he was all sad, but then it didn't even matter in the end. Like the scene was just over, and then it didn't have any lasting effects on the relationship.
No.
And like there wasn't any romance at all with Maddie and Bree because he didn't want it to be a date.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the lack of romance,
the first kiss was the closing scene,
and it was a terrible kiss, by the way. It was so terrible. He had this weird open mouth duck bill look on his face. Awful.
The first scene of Jack Wolf starts reviewing the hotel. Like, I thought this movie was about cheese. Who cares?
He reviews everything. He can review anything.
Okay.
Not only is he a master French chef, which we also learned.
He's also a cheese blogger.
He's also a cheese blogger. And he's good at writing. He has his best friend webmaster, which, by the way, they do not seem like they're friends. They only seem like they're work associates.
I did feel like that they had more chemistry than Bree and Jack, which is funny because they did not have any chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah, there was a distinct lack of chemistry between those two characters. Also, the guy that's in charge of the cheese festival, which also has like maybe 10 people at, like, when there's an event, there's like 7 people in the room. It looks so I mean, obviously it's because they're making this thing with no money. It's got 4 sets basically. But the guy that's in charge of the festival, when Jack's checking into the hotel, like, he says, we've upgraded your room and all this, he like gave me very sinister vibes, but then also that never paid off either. It was like this guy, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna like try and sabotage, because he's in the pocket of Big Cheese. He's a Lambert Farms fan, you know. There were no bad guys in this movie.
No. The bad guy was the dead grandfather that made the other grandfather
that was
go out of
dead,
business.
and we never meet.
And we never met. We never like Grandpa Lambert that made Grandpa Bree go out of business.
Yeah.
Is now they're just both gone. They're out of the plot. They're haunting the narrative.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
They're not here anymore.
Yeah. They're definitely haunting the narrative.
And the only reason she's into cheese is because of her grandfather.
Exactly, yes.
Exactly.
If I found out I died and I was being honored with cheese, I would come back and haunt you.
But the thing is that he was a cheesemaker, and based on what she said, was just as obsessed with cheese as she was.
Right.
So, like, I think he would have been pretty excited. Might have come back to eat the cheese.
Have we heard of therapy?
Also, there are definitely moments that are jokes that just don't land. Like, that was not funny. No one else is laughing.
I never laughed once.
Can I say, when at the very end, when they're doing the fondue scene, like it's Bree's fondue, and they're at the competition and the judge is eating the fondue, they added a slurping sound effect. And it makes me so mad.
For context, the smoked Gouda got ruined because the temperature was off.
Because
the fridge got turned off.
The fridge got
because of the wacky cheese lady.
Wacky cheese lady.
That I think everybody's supposed to find hilarious, that I just found
and
completely
so
annoying.
The texture was off, and so they had to turn their cheese into fondue, and the plot point was that, oh no, the cheese is ruined, now we're going to save the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
We have 24 hours to save the cheese. Oh my God, fondue. We have a fondue guy. Perfect.
It was meant to be.
Perfect setup.
It was meant to be. And then there's the montage, like overnight montage of them furiously trying to perfect.
It's just 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very compressed amount of time.
It's just 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
And also they have, so that like they're testing the fondue recipes in these little tiny pots, and they're testing them like, oh, this is terrible, and like the sink's full of pots or whatever. And then the last scene, he tests it, or she tested, I forget who tested it. It was like, oh, I think we got a winner. And it was in this huge vat. I was like, well, I hope it was a winner because you just made a giant vat of fondue.
Remember how much cheese that they had in the cellar?
They didn't have a lot of cheese.
And like the only reason that it was quote unquote ruined was that the texture was off, but like it still tasted
She
fine.
could have still sold it to her customers. They didn't have to melt it all.
Yeah.
I think I would watch it for the plot, but not necessarily like the entire concept of it.
Okay, but there is no plot. They're just hanging out, and then they kissed at the last minute.
I will say this: the concept.
The concept is there.
It's not like it's different, right? It's not like a bookshop or a bakery, or it is. You mentioned this earlier, Killian. It's like, well, at least it's not a bakery. It's a cheese shop. It's a little different.
Yeah, like you get a different scenery.
Yeah. But my argument is, doesn't happen in cheese shop. It's because it's gross to watch her make cheese. When she's like dips her hands into this vat of just like yellowish liquid.
There was a scene when she was like solemnly churning butter.
Yeah, like sadly.
She had her like pot of butter and her big stick, and she was like churning it. And she was like,
every time she was sad, she was back there making cheese.
Yeah.
That's how she feels better. That's how she decompresses.
Like, not the
Jillian
normal
really
go on
wants
a
this
walk.
girl to have therapy.
Right. Not the normal oh, let's go take a
I will-
walk. Let me cool off and nope. Let
I
me
will
make
go out of my
cheese.
own pocket for that copay.
There was a park though. That was one of the set pieces. This is you just start to see, if you're looking at it from a filmmaker's point of view, you just start to see where they're saving money, because there is a restaurant scene and it's supposed to be a really nice restaurant, but there's nothing on the walls.
And there's it's only Natty and Bree.
Yeah, well, there's like one other couple in the corner, but all the tables are super small. There's no like place settings. It's just like no nice restaurant looks like this.
It really bugged me after, I think it was after the Jack and Bree date or the dinner, that she gave him the key to her house and was just like, yeah, go cook me something, and then she was like, I have to go do something. I'll be back in a little bit, and just left him in her house.
But then it
unoccupied.
was like so broad daylight. Like they could have waited. Like she was like, I have late work, but then like she still got back and like the sun wasn't even set. Like she got back in the daytime. He was cooking up in the daytime. They could have just waited. But
Oh my gosh.
in the scene where Jack is like cooking her food, because he's like, I just want to cook, and then she's like, use my kitchen. I don't use it. He like makes her a grilled cheese, and she like is upset.
Oh, it's very insulting.
And I'm like, even if I was an executive French chef, if I made this girl that I liked grilled cheese, and I was like, it was like actually like fancy, because he made it fancy. Like it was like rosemary, sourdough, like fancy ham, fancy cheese with your cheese from your shop, because I love you so much. And she was like, oh, I mean, it's good, just and then he was like, oh no, here's your real meal. Like, and then she like gave the grilled cheese back to him and took the like chicken or
She took
whatever
one
it was.
bite of the grilled cheese.
And I was like, so what are you doing with the grilled cheese? Like that looked good. Like give that to me. Like that looked good.
Yeah, it was like a gag to a reference from the beginning of the movie.
Ugh.
But it was like, it's not worth it.
They reference.
It was not that funny.
They reference kill every single joke, like the fact that he didn't like the goat cheese, the fact that the grilled cheese is a callback. Like everything's like a callback to all
It's
these.
like that trend where it's like subtle foreshadowing, but instead of subtle foreshadowing, it's like flashes of the scene.
Right.
It's
yeah.
like that, except like reverse, like subtle callbacks, but instead of subtle,
more
it's just
flashbacks.
It's just flashes.
Yeah. It's not subtle. It's as subtle as a hammer to the face. In 5 minutes too. Back to the script thing. In the first 5 minutes, just watch the first 5 minutes, Destiny.
Okay.
There is so much exposition dump. Which
I noticed that. Like,
yeah, which is just for the audience that may not be. Exposition dump is just like when characters are vomiting out information so the audience knows what's happening. Everything is established in that first, like, she's a small cheese owner. She's super obsessed with cheese. She has no dating life. Her best friend works with her. There's a big cheese competition coming to town.
I thought it was so funny how her best friend was like the subject of that exposition dump, and I know that like in real life, Bree would just be yapping all the time, and her friend would be like, "No, I know. Like I know we're small cheesemaker, and Lambert Farm's trying to get us. Like you told me yesterday, and you told me the day before, and you told me the day before. Like we know."
And that's the problem with exposition dumps, because most often it's like all the characters in the room that are talking to each other about these things, they already know it. They're doing it for the audience, but it sounds so artificial that you're taken out of the moment. It doesn't feel real. And there's a whole lot of that in this movie, like a whole lot of that. Like when they like go into like weird emotional conversations.
Yeah, and I feel like all the plot twists got revealed too quickly for them to be plot like the Lambert farm selling out her grandfather. Like we've been knowing that should have been revealed with her dinner with Maddie Lambert.
And she tried to trickle that out too. I see what you're saying. Again, I think a lot of these things are script problems.
Yeah.
So that's like, because when I remember the first script I ever wrote, it was super ambitious because I wrote it sort of in this blue sky headspace, and by that you like kind of write not thinking about your limitations. But the moment it was like, okay, we're going to produce this, then I went back to the script and like, okay, what works and what doesn't? Now that I have to actually put it on film, like what can I actually do, Right. So you have to scale it.
And I feel like some of the best movies, when it comes to like dumping out the information too early, I feel like some of the best movies is when you mysteriously find out like in different ways. Like you have different scenes of the movies and they bring out the information that you learn about the characters and stuff.
Like subtle
throughout.
clues.
You have to make your brain work to find it out.
Yeah.
Like you could like listen to this as an audiobook and
That-
you'd still get everything.
And I think maybe the fact that you two just said the three of you just said those things maybe makes me think these movies are probably designed to just be on in the background. So like if I was making this film, you know, what's the rule? Show don't tell, right? I wouldn't talk about the Big Cheese Festival. I would show like the town square setting up for it with big banners and sign. You know what I mean? Obviously that's more money, that's more budget, that's more actors, that's more props, that's more. But like visually communicating those things so you don't have to spell it out and say, okay, audience, here's what's happening in this town this week, you know?
And it kind of reminds me of a movie like what you were explaining, Are We There Yet? If you kind of look at the plot of Are We There Yet, you kind of don't find stuff out until right then and there, but it comes along like chronically and it works. I remember a scene, it was them building up, like you can tell all the problems that they were having with their new home. They couldn't really find no one to get it together, and you know, you just problem after problem. But then they show the scene where they have a bunch of people at the end come together and help to build their house. So you don't really get like the, well, our house is coming together and this is this. No, you get like the, okay, is this going to work? Like you get the suspense feel like maybe something might go wrong throughout the process of it being built. But that's not the case. Like they kind of leave you on the edge until the end where it's like, boom, we have this big, beautiful house. We're hosting a baby shower, you know? So I feel like those are some of the best movies to come about.
Yeah, they just tell you everything in this one.
Yeah.
And the big emotional stuff, like all the grandfather stuff and like
right.
Jack's
like,
history.
Like,
it's just talked about. It's never
I wanted
shown.
like visual flashbacks
Yeah.
of like the
No
grandfathers
flashbacks.
in a fight,
Yeah.
of Jack cooking and him having like the visual realization of like, this isn't for me. I got to get out of here. I got to escape and blog about cheese. Like I wanted like more about like more like visual hints about like Maddie Lambert and him being like raised up from like as like the grandson of the Lambert Farm CEO.
Yeah, some backstory.
Yeah.
Like we just kind of know because like they tell us. And it's kind of like, also it's so funny with how low budget this movie is, how high budget the fictional cheese festival is. Their grand prize is $50,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a cheese
How do
festival.
you make that money with like 7 people that show?
Yeah.
Since you like noted stuff down throughout the movie, I'd like to hear some of the things that you caught throughout. So,
Back on the therapy thing, the best friend,
Jillian Judge, mental health advocate.
yes. No, the best friend is like mentions how Brie is stressing over cheese the same way that the best friend stresses over her children.
Her children.
Her children.
Actual people.
oh wow,
And if you know about children, you know that you stress about them.
Yeah. They're like cheese.
I stress about my friends and they're grown. like there's no way you're stressing over cheese.
I stress about my cat. Would I stress about a block of cheese like I stress out about my cat? Probably not.
Again, these are
No.
all these examples are living creatures.
yeah.
They're living things you
Well,
have to care
also,
for.
like, I guess, though, because, like, with, like the theater competition we're doing right now, like, we're stressing over, like, costume designing,
but it's not
play
life or
making
death. It's not
the
life
same
or
way.
death.
But we're also doing it the same way that she's stressing out about cheese. Like our theater and her cheese are the same thing.
But the thing is, like kids, racing kids are a constant responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think the troubling thing is the cheese is a constant responsibility. And it's
Yeah.
not just the competition.
Like her
it's
smoked
just like,
Gouda is a 4-year-old cheese. Like that is a 4-year-old child that she has taken care of for 4 years. She has raised this cheese.
Yeah.
And she has no real children. So
you just put it.
she
I mean,
finds it in her cheese.
appears to me after you get the recipe down and you make the cheese, though, you just put it in the room.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that the temperature's right. And you have to check on it. You have to make sure that.
Also, why
Yeah.
isn't it just like auto set? Like, why isn't there a nest in there and she can check it on her phone? I mean, this 2020 was not.
But she had
All
she
that
had
stuff
like
existed.
she had a mansion, so like she could afford a smart
Yeah, she did have.
cheese
Yeah.
shop.
Back to her really nice house, which they probably paid a pretty penny to rent.
They should have paid a pretty penny to pay more actors instead of because I feel like it would have been more realistic if she was in like a quaint like studio apartment above like a general
maybe
store.
above the cheese shop.
Above the cheese shop. Like if she was like in a quaint little place above the cheese shop and the only room we ever saw was her bedroom and like her kitchen, then like
Also, like on small local productions, you give like a extra $75, $100 to show up and just stand around and look like they're at a cheese festival.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's not that.
Like, and the house was so empty. I was like,
You
it's
could
just
probably
her
Mhm.
in this
Yeah.
house. She has no pets. She doesn't have her cheese in her house. She keeps it all at her shop. So, like, what's she doing in her house? Like,
That
she
shop
doesn't-
was nice, though.
She doesn't live there. Yeah, like
That shop was super nice.
I would have worked at that shop. I would if there was a cheese store.
I was into cheese the same way that she is.
Listen,
It would be a nice cheese.
if I was into cheese
But
the
I
same way the
don't
cheese fangirl was.
care. I don't care about cheese. They open up so many opportunities for like subplots and like other things happening behind the scenes, and they didn't like do anything with any of them. Like if you could have one more like interesting person that's not the crazy cheese lady, it would make the movie a little bit better. Like just having something else going on that's not the
Yeah.
cheese
related.
Yeah.
Cheese. Like I wish she had like a cat that got sick or something. Just so that there was like a real life being that she was stressed, and that would raise the stakes because like her cat is sick and now also she has to cheese. Like that would cause conflict.
The personalities of the main characters are all just their jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing beyond that.
Like Jack's webmaster is just a webmaster.
He's just a webmaster.
Jack is just a chef.
Yep.
Bree is just a cheesemaker.
Yeah.
Her friend is just a manager.
Well, that's the ancillary characters, like the side characters, and this is often the case in movies. Their only purpose is to serve the main protagonists, right? I
Yeah.
get that. But like there is no texture, there's no depth, there's no even with the main characters. Like there's like what can you say about them other than
Who
what
they play.
what they do for a living?
Exactly.
That's really that
Yeah.
limit.
So maybe if they had like a deeper understanding of like who these people were and what happened, and like kind of go more into detail about what role they played in Bree's life other than what they actually do, it could add on to the movie.
Yeah, like the grandfather. It's the grandfather and Bree have this close relationship because they have the common bond of cheese. That seems to be the extent of it.
Right.
Like
But that's usually not how relationships work,
Yeah.
right? It might have been cheese that bonded them, but there was probably something else there that, like she didn't have any friends, or she, found it hard to relate to people. And so like the grandfather is the person she relates, but there's none of that. But and I hate to keep going back to it, but going back to the script, you're having to place all of that meaning into it. It's not
like,
there.
They don't say that.
It's not there inherently. You're just putting it there,
Yeah.
which is, you can argue that, all art's like that, and you can argue that like, oh, they want us to make some meaning. I just think it's bad writing.
I'm just trying to, I think my brain was just trying to make it a better movie by filling in the plot holes.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have any friends because all she thinks about is cheese because that's her life because she
But
has
it's
autism.
not. But it's not a problem for the
But
movie.
it's not
just
like it's not like in the movie. It's just how she is.
right.
I have one joke
Oh,
that my mom is making me put in.
Okay.
It's the only joke I could come up with. It's a rom-com, but they forgot the com and the rom.
that's a pretty good button.
There was.
You ended this. That line ended this podcast better than most of the scenes in this movie ended.
Come back in December as we bring you some more Hallmark movie reviews.
Do they get any better?
Not really.
Hello, welcome back to Legion's podcast. On this segment, we have Club's Deep Dive. I am here with
OB.
And what grade are you in?
12th grade, I'm a senior.
And what club are you a part of?
The Black Student Union of Lee High School.
So how do I become a member? Like, how do people become a member of your club?
You could really just show up if you wanted to. Like, we're welcoming like anybody. It doesn't matter who you is. Doesn't matter like we're called Black Student Union, but really it's like more like a community thing. So anybody can come through whenever they want to.
And do you have to have like a certain GPA or like certain grades, or is it just like?
Nah, like you can just show up. Like if you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, like have fun, enjoy yourself, be for the people. And that's what we here for.
So like, what does your club have to offer? Like, why should people join your club?
Well, I'll say we do fun things. Like we always have we're always on go. We're doing events. We're doing volunteering for elementary schools, getting y'all's hours up, which is also a good thing that you need for like your resume and all that jazz. We do community events. We go out to different places. Like next week we're going to, I think it's Johnson Towers, to like give food to the homeless or like people who need it, like providing Thanksgiving food and all that. That's what we're doing next week. But we're basically doing a whole bunch of community service, volunteering, and community events. That's like our probably big 3 things that we do.
So being a part of the club, like, what is your favorite thing that's going on in the club? What's your favorite part about the club?
My favorite part is like when we get to go out and do stuff. I love going out and then having a good time with different people that I don't know, putting a smile on people's faces. It's a really good thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see, especially with the photos with our photographer Craig. He be going crazy with the photos. But yeah.
So I know you mentioned giving out food to the Johnson Towers, but are there any upcoming events that are going on within this club?
Yes, there is. So Christmas, December 16th, not 20th, December 16th, we will be doing a community Christmas party. It's going to be live. It's going to have live music. We're going to be having games, gingerbread decorations, ornament painting. We're going to have a little community bingo thing that we do. We're going to provide hot chocolate and all that because, it's some real cold outside, real chilly, so we want to keep everybody warm, keep everybody comfortable. We're going to try to, have like a little dance session if you want to do that, too. We'll just try to keep it a cool little vibe. That's going to be, something that we do right before finals because I know that's also finals week. So we're taking the last full day of finals week to, give somebody kind of like a refresher or, just a way to cool their head because I know people want to be anxious and always want to be tense up around finals week. So it's just something ease it out, take their mind off of it.
So what made you want to join BSU?
I wanted to be part of something bigger. I wanted to be somebody who could help people, be a voice in the community, be a leader for people, help them grow and become a better version of themselves, and just have a good time.
So you're a senior, so this is your last year. So where do you see this club going in the future? Do you have people that are willing to step up and continue what you got going on? Where do you see this club going?
My secretary, Mariah, she is very adamant about this thing. What we have going on, she's very adamant about it. She loves helping out, organizing, planning, and being a part of everything. She enjoys all that kind of stuff. So I know she can take the next step and just keep us going, keep this thing going for sure.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. I want to say thank you for joining us today.
Welcome,
and remember, in the club, we all fam. Hello. Welcome back to Legion's podcast on the segment Clubs Deep Dive. Today I am here with
Ashley Hernandez-Martinez.
And what is your classification?
I'm a senior at Lee High School.
So what club are you a part of?
I'm a part of JKL.
And what does JKL stand for?
JKL stands for the Just Keep Living program.
So how do I become a member?
Basically, we have Miss Smart, Miss Renault. You can come up to Miss Smart's office or Miss Renault's office, and you can just talk to them, ask them about coming out to one of the meetings. You come out for 3 days, consecutive days. You just become a member after all that. We're very accepting to different people and different perspectives.
So what does your club have to offer? Why should people join your club?
People should join our club because it's open to everybody. You have different opportunities to community service, mental health, nutritious, fitness as well, to take care of your body and helps you in many different ways. Any type of way, it's an open space for everybody to join and to talk, let your feelings out there as well.
So what is your favorite part of JKL like?
My favorite part of JKL is feeling comfortable enough to be able to talk to anybody in there. Because once you join JKL, they become like your family. And I know Lee High School is like your family, but JKO is like really a close family, and I can talk and be open. They're not just there for schoolwork, but also you.
Why did you join JKO?
So I heard about JKO through my friend Imani Taylor, and she explained to me what it was, and then I talked to Miss Smart, and I came to one of the meetings, and they were just so like accepting, like everybody in there was welcoming me and made me feel comfortable enough, and after that it made me want to come to more meetings. And the more I kept coming, the more I enjoyed it, and I love coming to each meeting every time.
And so how has JKO impacted your life?
I feel like sometimes when you're at Lee High School, you find some difficult times, just like any other school. It just helped me be able to open up to somebody, because usually if you feel like you're not comfortable talking to one person about something or anything, we also do journals. So we write in our journals about how we feel in our day. And the more we write, the more we reflect, and we get to like share with the class in there.
So are there certain requirements that I need to join the club?
We really don't have any, but like we do recommend to stay on top of your work. We encourage that, of course. Like maybe you're not in the right track, but maybe that's good for you to join because you need to get in the right track. That is one thing you want to do. And joining JKO is a step for you to get there. And Miss Smart and Ms. Renault are great. They accept anybody. Your GPA does not matter. Your attitude doesn't matter. We literally accept anybody there, and we just make y'all feel comfortable to join.
Do you have any events that are coming up in the next couple of weeks?
We have our Rumble boxing coming up as well. It's just a way to help, to experience new things.
Yeah, keep you in shape,
Right, yeah.
So to wrap it on up, do you see this club going anywhere in the future? Because you're a senior. This is your last year. Do you see this club still being here looking back maybe 3 to 4 years from now?
The more one person joins, the more it gets bigger. Because if one person joins, then that person can let someone else know and be like, hey, this is a really good program. You should join as well. And the more people join, and then it just gets bigger. So I feel like right now it's really getting bigger. And hopefully in the future it does get bigger. Because I know we started off small, but they're trying to make their way up. And hopefully in the future, it will get up.
Well, I want to say thank you for joining us on this podcast today. I just want y'all to remember, in the club, we all fail. Thank you to the student leaders and sponsors of BSU and JKO.
Next episode, we will be continuing our club's deep dive with Beta Club and Chinese Club.
To close out this episode, we have senior and podcast team member Alana Griffin sharing her thoughts and opinions in Alana Talks.
Hi friends! Welcome to the Legion podcast. My name is Alana Griffin. I'm a senior in the Technical Theater Magnet here at Lee. I love Charlie Brown and strawberries and hanging with my pals. And this is Alana Talks. Today I've been given a handful of questions to answer about my experience in the Magnet. So let's answer those. The first one I have is, what are your opinions about being a props designer for Syringatry? Syringatry was our competition one act for an explanation, just in case anyone doesn't know. So my opinions, or I guess my experience being a props designer, it was a bit scary, honestly, and also a bit challenging, I think. I know, but it was a bit strenuous. That's how you say it. It was a bit strenuous. I had limited help, if I'm going to be honest, but it was a really fun experience. I loved seeing my props on stage. I'm grateful for the opportunity I was given, and I really am grateful for my magnet because I have designing positions that I wouldn't get anywhere else. So I'm thankful for that. All right, I'm going to move on to our next question. If I could be in another magnet, what would it be and why? I've been writing a lot this year, so I think if I could be in another magnet, it would be Creative Writing Magnet, because I like to write, I like to journal. It's a good way to get my feelings out on paper, and if I wanted to share it, I could. I could write it in the form of a poem. Creative Writing Magnet, simple answer. Okay, what's your main goal as a magnet ambassador? For context, we've been going to middle schools for 2 weeks now, me and a few other kids in the magnet. We've been going to middle schools to recruit people for our magnet programs because the magnet window is open. Apply. Sorry, I make myself laugh. My main goal as a Magnet ambassador is to just get more kids to realize that they have opportunities given to them. They have more opportunities. It doesn't just have to be one, because you have College Academy, you have New Century, you have Lee Magnet. My main goal is for kids to just find the community that they feel included in and for them to appreciate the place and the environment that they're in. Okay. What did I learn from doing Magnet ambassadorship? I learned that not all kids are going to be interested in what you are trying to tell them. And that's okay. They don't always have to be engaged, but the kids who do, learn to appreciate them. I learned to appreciate them. Okay, why am I in the Tech Magnet? I love this question. Let me tell you, I love talking about it. I'm in the Tech Magnet because I felt like I needed a new experience in something. I felt very empty in high school. I didn't feel like I was doing anything, helpful. So I wanted something that I could feel included in. My friend Jack, I saw his work in our show, The Wiz, and I knew I wanted to do something involving theater. And now I'm here, and I have designing positions, and I've only been doing it a year, and that makes me happy, and I'm very grateful. Okay, what teachers have impacted me? It's actually only 2, and they're actually a married couple. It's crazy. The Lees here at Lee, Dylan and Denise, they have impacted my life in ways that I can't even express. Every time I need a shoulder to cry on, they're there for me. They think I'm funny, which is very nice because I don't think I'm funny, but I'm glad they do. And I just love them, and they always make me believe that I can do. That's it. I can just do, and that's okay with them. All right, next question. So now we're going to talk about stuff that I want to talk about because it's my podcast. I'm joking. Okay. Can I rate my top 5 emojis? The answer is yes. My first one, coming up in first place, is the pregnant man emoji. I really like the pregnant man emoji, and I don't know why. And then you have the goat emoji and the fire emoji. And then there's the suspicious eye raise emoji. I like doing that. And then there's the blushing emoji. But it's not the one where the hand is in front of the mouth giggling. It's just a blush. Okay, next question. How many times have you seen Charlie Brown Christmas this year? I've seen it almost every day this year. I know that seems unbelievable. I'm not lying. That is my favorite movie. It serves as a form of escapism for me. Whenever things get hard, I can just watch Charlie Brown. I can just throw it on, you know? I think that everyone needs to watch Charlie Brown. Well, I'm being told I have to wrap this up now. That's all I have today. Thank you guys for listening, and be sure to submit questions for next month's segment at our Instagram, Legion_podcast, LEEGION_PODCAST, and our Gmail, legionpodcast@gmail.com, LEEGIONPODCAST@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us this week. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and most podcast apps.
Join us in the end of next month with another new full-length episode, and check your feed for new mini episodes and video content releases.
Welcome to the Legion is produced by Legion Media.